the best gift for a teacher? I dare say tonight that the best gift for a teacher is a week of lesson plans, or maybe more. And that's what we're going to be giving you in tonight's episode. And as part of a 3-part series, we're going to give you several weeks of free lesson plans. So I hope that this is a good gift for you. It's not just lesson plans, it's also a collection of activities that can be used for small group guided reading instruction week after week, year after year, with many different reading levels. So, are you ready? I'm excited to share this with you. So step 1 and step 2 on the 3-part lesson plan are word work activities, and Build It is all it takes to get kids moving towards the code, learning the letter sounds, but not just learning the letter sounds. So I'm going to show you a video of a girl who is 4 years old. She's trying out Build It, and she's learning a lot of stuff. So let's bring up this video of a young girl doing the activity Build It, which is a great first step for any brand new beginning reader. Hey Ellie, will you help your friend build a word today? Okay, let's build the word sad. I will be sad to see Ellie go. What's the first sound that you hear when I say oh, that's good. Which one is? And say as you pull it down. Yes, sad. What's that sound?
D.
There is a D. But what do you hear right here before we get to the D? Look and watch. Sad. Oh, okay. Which one is ah? Bingo. Okay, and the last sound is sad. I couldn't hear that. Oh, beautiful. Can you pull it down and say D? Oh, tell me each sound by itself. And the word is? Oh, so nice. Are you sad? High five. I know. I can tell you're not sad. So Michelle's got great recent experience. She said she just tried Build It with kindergarten students today who didn't know names or sounds, and it went fantastic. Wow, perfect timing, Michelle. Thank you for popping in here tonight. You should have seen the big smiles on their faces. They caught on very quickly. That's just such a beautiful essence of this activity. We don't have to do everything in little compartments and separated. When we put it all together, there is an aha that our students can have that makes reading a reality much earlier than when we do everything in isolated pockets. So yes, absolutely. Melissa's saying the little girl was going to be learning the letter sounds, and Carrie says she was also segmenting sounds. That's right. And what about the concept of the alphabetic principle, that our written language is a code for sounds, that those sounds that you hear, they're represented by those squiggles on the board or on those cards. So that's something. What about left to right tracking? That's another thing that's happening, or just the concept of a word. So all of that pre-reading stuff and early reading stuff is happening simultaneously with Build It. So if you were doing Build It, you would do for day 1 in your lesson plan, you would choose these words or something similar: sat, mad, sad, and rat. So you start out with short A because it's one of the easier sounds to produce and recognize, and most reading programs emphasize that first, so they're more likely to recognize it earlier. And then also notice these words start with what's called continuant consonants. The sat and the mad, the S, the M, the R, and rat, those are sounds that can be continued and don't have a sudden stop, so they make it easier to pull apart. So when you're asking that student, what do you hear at the beginning of the word sat, she can pull the S away from the A in sat because it is so easily exaggerated. So that's one way to get started with Build It. But then you quickly add more letter sounds each day. Remember, this is just a multiple choice question. Even if they don't know any at the very beginning, within minutes, they may start to recognize one of them. Maybe tomorrow they'll recognize 2 of them. Maybe in 3 days they'll recognize all of them. And so you make the word sat, And then you would try the next word. What's that next word on my list there? But you only put up the letter sounds that are in that one word, which makes this easier than switch it. So then you would ask them, okay, let's also make the word mad. So use a small collection of letter sounds to build words so they start to learn the letter sounds and they see how sounds and symbols align. That's the power of Build It. So that is Build It. That will be a huge breakthrough for many of your kids. However, it is definitely not sufficient. It isn't actually reading because you've said the word out loud, okay? If you say, we're going to make the word mad, don't worry, I'm not mad at you. You've said the word mad a couple times. So even if they make it, duh, they may not be actually blending it and reading it. They may just be remembering, oh, it was the word mad. So we got to also do some real reading, and that's what Read It involves. And Read It incorporates the blend as you read decoding strategy, which we talk a lot about here at Reading Simplified because it's so helpful for those kiddos who can't seem to blend. So we take that blend as you read strategy, which I'm about to show you, and we do it with Read It, and then also in step 3, which we'll get to in a second. Instead of doing the sound word method, let me show you. So for the word map, classically, what would we be told to do? Let's read the word, class. We're going to say p. Now what word? That's sound word, okay? It does work with a lot of kids, but not everyone. So we're going to do something instead called blend as you read. Just put the sounds together from the beginning like this. Ma. Now you're asking me, well, this kid doesn't know anything. But maybe they learned a little bit just from doing Build It a minute ago. But even if they didn't, that's okay. Well, can you help me try to read this word? Let's put the first 2 sounds together. And then what if they look at you like you got something crazy on your hat or on your head or food on your face? Well, you say, okay, let's take it step by step. First of all, what sound is this? And if they don't know, and you say, okay, I'll tell you. It's Now you say it. Okay, they've said it. Now what's this sound? They don't know. Okay, I'll tell you. This is ah. Okay, so you had and then what did you have? Ah. Most kids can remember that much. Now let's put those sounds together. Ah. Can you put them together? Many kids can at that point, or maybe after a little modeling. Well, I hear ma when I put these 2 sounds together. Ma. Okay, so hold that ah with me like we're singing it. Ma. And then the last sound. Do you know what it is? This is ma. They may be able to get it. If not, that's fine. Well, you had ma, and this is p. Put it all together. Ma. Map, that's right. So they may not know any letter sounds, but you give it to them and they practice their blending. They see how letter sounds line up, and then after they read it, then they write it and say the sounds again. If they don't know how to write it, that's okay. Let me dot it for you. That first sound in map, what is it again? That first sound is, go ahead and write it. And say, I like how you said it as you wrote it. And so they write it and say ah, p. And then they erase it and say the sounds again. More reinforcement of the letter sounds. Ah, p. The teacher can erase it too at the same time. So these 2 activities together, they're like peanut butter and jelly. Build It breaks the words apart, shows kids how sound and symbol all line up, teaches them letter sound knowledge, teaches them improved phonemic processing, and Read It does the other part of the phonemic processing, the blending, putting the sounds together, but also keeps reinforcing letter sound knowledge. And of course, when you're writing it, you're segmenting it again. So you're getting how reading and spelling are just 2 sides of the same coin. They just are perfect pairs. We're going to end with, of course, you got to do some reading. And if they can't read anything, then you still do almost all the reading and maybe ask them to read one word, doing a lot of nurturing of the blend as you read approach. So I'm going to recommend these texts. If you don't know about starfall.com, you can check it out at this website, starfall.com. And these books are even freely available to read online, or you can print them out. So how many of you are fans of Starfall? Woo! So if you go here, this is the main page, scroll down to the Parent-Teacher Center down here, then you can find a free PDF of these books that I'm going to show you. So you don't have to read it on the computer. So there's different ways to go to it, but maybe here you go to resources and then printable downloads, and then scroll down. Here we go, our short vowels. These are the books that I'm recommending in this lesson plan sequence. Zach the Rat's right here. Click on that and I pop over to this. Isn't that cool? We've got some short A practice. You would definitely help him with Zach because you haven't taught him the Z, but maybe he can do the student or the group of students could do the word sat. And again, you buddy read it. They do maybe one word a sentence, maybe one word a page, maybe two, and you read the rest of it. But this is not the only thing that they do, because the other part of the lesson is so important, is not just the reading of the new text, but the rereading. So after they've read it once and you ask them to summarize it, then you read it back to them with their eyes following, maybe even their finger following along the text. Maybe you reread it once, maybe read it twice, and then maybe you send them to the computer to read this again on starfall.com. And then they read it with a peer, or they record themselves, or they read it with a teaching assistant. They come back the next day and they read it again, and it's probably pretty good at this point. Maybe some of those words are sight words now. And then they go to short I book, the big hit, the next couple days, and then to a short O book, Mox's Shop on Friday. Again, this is just a generic kind of template that might work for many groups of brand new beginners. If it's too fast for yours, that's fine, slow them down. Or if it's too easy, wait for next week and we'll have a harder lesson plan. So that was a little example of how you can juggle a group of kids and still do something fairly simple. This is a little higher level with those kiddos, but it's hopefully you can see how maybe you can give them a card, and a card with the word on it, and they take turns, but then they're still accountable to write it. So that is a simple 3-part lesson plan structure that you can use for brand new beginners.